Hi, and welcome back to Rugged Mountain Homestead. My name is Sarah, and today is the day that I've been waiting for so long. It is finally here, the day of our garden reveal. And let's have a little chat as we walk down to the garden. Now, our first frost date around here is about May 29. You never plant anything out before Memorial Day. Someone told me that, and it is very good advice. Then our first frost day isn't expected around end of September. It is a shorter growing season than what I was used to back in Virginia. So I've learned early on, even though it's hard sometimes, not to compare with other people. There are a lot of other people that I watch, and even this morning I was like, how can their garden look like that already? Realizing they're in a different part of the country and got to plant out, a couple months ago. So a lot of things are not getting planted out until this evening. But I'm planning to provide weekly updates on how the garden is doing. And my vision has really come to life this year. And if you saw that video a couple weeks back, I'm going to link it below so you kind of have an idea. Those of you who did see it, this is exactly what I was talking about. So let's go in the garden. So as you can see, not a lot is planted out. Some things are, but let's go through and take a little tour. Now over here in this corner, I have planted sunflowers, 2 sunflowers that Whiskey Barrel is a lot bigger than it looks. In here, they are Henry Wild variety, and the reason that I've planted those right there, a very dear friend gifted us this sign for the garden. It's so cute. This here is a tiny amaranth. It's kind of leaning over right now, but these plumes are supposed to get pretty big. I don't know how this is going to do here, but I wanted to try it out because they are supposed to grow 4 to 5 feet tall, and I thought those plumes would be so beautiful against the fence. Okay, in this first garden bed here, I have little tiny okra seedlings coming up. I have a couple okra plants in here, and then I have a sunflower in here. So I'm really excited seeing those come up. Now, as you notice, I have put mulch down here. These are wood chips that were chipped from this property. Over here, I have a cucumber plant, and then on each side of it is a gourd plant. I've wanted to grow gourds for a long time. Now, they will grow up this arbor here. And that is just so beautiful. That's the exact vision I had. Dean just took it and ran with it, and it's a huge success. I have a few little garden ornaments here. This is a little bumblebee, just cute as can be. It is solar energized, and he lights up in the evening. And just a couple of my little geckos to add some whimsy to the garden. So I am hoping to see a bunch of gourd and cucumber vines growing up this arbor. Here we have the onions. They were planted out in May. They were actually planted out before Memorial Day because these can take a frost. and they're looking really, really nice. I'm really happy with them. The sun is super bright already, and I'm trying to stay out of the way, but you can still see a lot of shadow. This is the parsley. I have quite a bit of it this year. It's doing really nice. A lot of new growth. You can see the new growth. What is the new growth? Because from putting it outside, the new growth is much darker green than when it was inside and first brought out. As you can see the difference here from this in the center. Okay, this area does not have anything in it right now. Tonight I will be planting out the peppers. I have made the final decision to finish planting out the garden tonight, but I just couldn't wait any longer to show you. This is the second arbor, and on this arbor I plan on having Lakota squash. On each side of the Lakota squash I have cowpeas planted, just 2 plants on either side. Now you may think you're planting awful close, Sarah, but 2 things. First, this arbor here, from this post to that post, is 6 feet. Each of these posts, from post to post, is 2 feet. So I have plenty of space here. As you look back, you can see here my string of lights on either side. And it's so beautiful at night. I will be getting some pictures of the garden at night. All of these lights are multicolored, and it is just so pretty. Now, if you're not familiar, a Lakota squash is kind of pear-shaped, but more full. And it is an orange, like pumpkin, with green striations. And in the pictures, they just look absolutely gorgeous. And they're supposed to kind of be like acorn squash in taste. So I'm growing them. We like acorn squash, so I want to grow them, of course, to eat, but it's not something you see in the store, and it's beautiful. These here are a row of calendula. Some of them are larger than others, but this is a row of calendula. It's a really nice flower. You can make salve from it. It's good for your skin. It's also very pretty. Now my collards are looking pretty puny. I put them out. These are cold weather plants, and I put them out in early May. Actually, when Woody was still here, I was putting them out, and we have run into a heat wave. It has been like 90 degrees, and so it has really taken a toll on them. So we'll see what happens. I'm not going to pull them up for a little while longer. I may plant some beans alongside of them. Same story here with the beets. This one's doing pretty well still with the heat, but some of these really aren't. And for the first time ever, I have carrots. I am so excited. We eat a lot of carrots. I've been thinning them down. The carrot seeds are so small, you can't really see them hardly. And so I've been thinning them as they come up. But the heat doesn't seem to be bothering them. Chives are planted along this row. They take a little bit longer to come up. And then I wasn't sure that they had germinated, so I dug some up. I pulled the mulch back up here, and they look like little blades of grass when they do come up. So down here, I replanted more. These are the radishes. They're looking great, as is the Swiss chard. Heat doesn't seem to be bothering them at all. I am so excited. I don't know if you can tell, but this is such a deep, deep red. This is the Vulcan variety, and I just think it is absolutely gorgeous. We eat Swiss chard in our salads, part of our salad mix. Just absolutely beautiful. I'm so happy with that. Now I'm leaving this side of the arbor down here blank. Did you see that little lizard? Look. Well, he was fast. I'm leaving this right here blank for now because I'm envisioning this arbor to be covered in cowpeas and Lakota squash. So I want to give it some room over here. This area along this trellis is going to be my tomatoes, of course. I went ahead and planted out 3 as a test. I planted them out a couple days ago. I wanted to see if it was time, if these warm temps were going to stay. And I'm going to finish planting them out because the next 10 days, the nighttime temps are hovering around 50 and low 50s. And I plant these rather deep. I plant these 10 inches deep, so they're actually a pretty good size. This is an Abe Lincoln variety. This is an Amish paste tomato. And this is a Brandywine tomato. I have never grown these varieties before, so I'm anxious to see how they go and how they produce. They are all heirlooms and indeterminate variety, which means they will grow with as much room as they have. They will just continue to grow. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. But on this side over here is oregano. And then right here we have winter squash. It is the delicata squash. We tried it in an Azure order last year and really liked it. So I have planted one. And I'm going to give it some room to ramble. So that's why there isn't anything planted there. These are marigolds here. They're 2 different varieties. These are the orange Hawaii. I have grown those in Virginia, and they're really a pretty puffy marigold, real deep orange, real pretty. And these are an Aztec marigold, and they're supposed to have red in them, and they're not supposed to be as big. So I'll be excited to see what those look like. And then from here on back is 6 feet, all the way back to here. I have planted 5 different varieties of bush beans. So we are going to have a lot of beans this year. And I want to try making dilly beans for the first time. And then I will have tomatoes down this side of the trellis as well. And I'm going to do them staggered from, of course, what I plant on the other side. I also have some basil to bring out. This is our 3rd bed. It is 5 feet by 24 feet. The other 2 beds are 5 feet by 40 feet. Here in this bed, right here, I have 8 nasturtium plants going here. We also have dill growing. It is looking so beautiful. I love dill, and these seeds were given to me from someone who lives locally, and she always has a beautiful garden, and she gifted me these dill seeds last year. Now these 3 nasturtium plants, they came from inside. Now as you can see, the sun is taking a little bit of a toll on them, the heat, but they're going to be okay. These three came from inside. Down this row, we have beautiful lettuce. They were tiny little things when I brought them out, just getting started. And this is how they're looking so far. Absolutely gorgeous. This is an Arctic King variety. I've never tried it before. And then this is the Merlot lettuce. And even though there's 5 bunches here, I use them as greens. I don't let them head up or anything like that. And as you can see, we are sharing a little bit with some little bug around here, but that's okay. Real food does not look perfect, and that's okay. I don't know what the pest pressure is going to be like out here because I haven't been able to garden in Southwest Colorado before. So hopefully it won't be as bad as it is on the East Coast with the humidity, but I'll just have to see. Here I have a row of arugula, and as you can see, the heat is kind of getting to this one. It's producing a little flower there. I'm going to pinch that off because I do not want them going to seed yet, for sure. And arugula, I use it in the leaf form as well with the lettuce and the Swiss chard in our salad mix. And this is just a row of oregano. I like having the herbs. And I have some squash planted out here. This is a yellow squash. I am not sure what this one is. It's either zucchini or yellow. The marker got moved, and so I'm just not sure, but I know it's squash. And then this is a little zucchini that just came up. This here is a pumpkin. I have plenty of room for it to ramble. It said 2 feet either side. I have never ever grown pumpkin before, and this variety is the New England sugar pie. So I want to grow it and see if I can roast it and have it for pumpkin pie. I made homemade pumpkin pie from roasted pumpkin last year for the first time, and it is so good. It is so much better than the pumpkin pie mix. I also planted out some oregano, a couple plants down each side of the pumpkin because they are supposed to repel pests that may bother the pumpkin. Nothing has come up here yet because I just seeded it a couple days ago, probably like 2 days ago, but all through this area down to here are flowers. I've planted some echinacea, and I've planted some red rudbeckia. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's kind of like a black-eyed Susan, but this is red. I went ahead and seeded some more lettuce just down this row. And this is all my wild thyme here. This is a rather short trellis, but I think it's going to work just fine. I have every couple squares planted Cherokee beans. Now, I grew these in Virginia. They were extremely prolific. They earned a spot in the garden, and they make the best dried black beans. You can eat them as a bean right off of the vine, just like you would green beans, but I let them dry on the vine, and then I shell them, and I have black beans. Over here, I've made a sweet little spot. It was an idea I came up with sitting out here one evening. And underneath this tree is this huge boulder, and I didn't want it moved because I do love it. And so I went ahead and put just this tiny cheap little garden fencing here and filled it with soil and mulch, and then I planted some different herbs. In here I have a couple yarrow plants. I have feverfew, a couple calendula, some lemon balm, some oregano, and some mint back there. I did place some rock here, and there's some gravel underneath that rock, and I need to go ahead and stack some more rocks on top of these. Now you may think, lemon balm and mint in that small little spot? Yes, because I want to see what the other herbs do, the other flowers do. I know lemon balm and mint grow like crazy, and so if they grow like crazy there and some of the others don't, I'm happy with that. I use lemon balm and mint and make a nighttime tea, and then mint is just wonderful to have in your cool drinks as well. I went ahead and planted a few containers as well. This is another amaranth. As you can tell, the heat has just killed that one. I'm not sure if that one's gonna live, and I'm not even sure of the spacing. So if I only get one out of here, I'm perfectly happy. And the same over here. And who knows, maybe they can't even be planted in this climate, but that's the experiment. I'm going to try it, and if they can't, I know some flowers can because they grow wild here, and that's what will be here next year. These are 3 tiny sprouts of spinach. I don't expect much out of them because of the heat, and so I'm just going to let them do whatever. The same as for my kale. It's just about killed my kale. As you can see, this one is the only one that really seems to be surviving it. And I have a container here of mint. And this is a dwarf lavender. It smells so good, but I've never grown this variety of lavender before. And I think I'm going to order another one as well, because I just don't know what this one's going to do. But it does have new growth. And a container of lemon balm. I have faith that that one will do pretty well. They're pretty hardy plants. I did bring out some watermelon. These are my 2 watermelon seedlings. I have a large container, a very large container that's shallow, that I'm going to place on the ground out here and let them start in that area and then ramble out over top. I can't plant in the soil here. It is like concrete. I thought I was going to be able to plant them directly in the berm when you first come in the door, and I tested it, and I was going to turn over that native soil and then put purchased soil on top. But when I turned over a little bit, it was very, very hard, of the native soil and put a little bit of water on it, it was just like concrete. And actually, I know for a fact it's like concrete because each of these posts, they are not concreted in. From the previous video showing Dean putting them in, holes were dug, and they're in the ground about 2 feet or 2 feet, and then watered in. And it is just like concrete. They don't move. And I know I can't plant out here in the ground. So in the mornings, this is where I have my coffee next to this tree. But I love this little spot because it's shaded. As you can see, I'm not going to stand in the shade, but it is shaded. And the view that I look out at the garden each morning and just see that my vision is coming to life. It's so exciting. And then in the evenings, this is my sitting stump. We're still looking for a little bistro table and chairs for me out here, but haven't found them yet. I'm not going to put just anything out here because, as I've stated, I have a vision for this garden, and so far it's coming to fruition just beautifully. And I'm very happy in the evening sitting here on this sitting stump, just being thankful for everything that is happening out here. And then also I can see the lights when they come on, and they are absolutely gorgeous. I will get a nighttime shot. and they actually look like they crisscross when you're looking at them at night. And then my little bumblebee lights up, as does this sunflower and the wind spinner at the very end of this bed. So I couldn't be more happy with how this has turned out. Now over here, you're probably asking, what in the world are you letting these weeds grow up? Well, weeds are only a plant that are growing in a place you don't want them to, but I don't mind this being here, and it's going to get pretty tall. And as you can see, they have, I hope you can see, they have like little tiny spines on the other side. You can feel them, but they don't really hurt. They probably would get stuck in your skin like a splinter and just be an aggravation. When these leaves are very tiny, you can eat them like you would lettuce. I tested it, and the leaves, as they get bigger, I was told they were bitter. They are bitter, very bitter. So I'm letting this grow, and then I'm going to make a tincture with it, because prickly lettuce made into a tincture is supposed to be good for pain. And I follow the Homestead YouTube channel, and she and her mom are herbalists, and they have an apothecary, and they recently made a tincture with prickly lettuce, and I watched how they did that. And so that was perfect timing for them to put that video out, and I'm going to make sure that I try it this year. So we have some life in here right now, but also my vision is just beautiful, abundant, lush growth over top of the arbors, in the beds, and I will be bringing you along with me as the plants start making their appearance. I am so excited to have garden season here, to be able to show you my vision that has come to life. I did share what my vision was before any of this came to pass, and I will link that video down below in case you haven't seen it. But this truly is the garden of my dreams. We have about a little over 500 square feet of growing space in those beds. The whole enclosed garden area, the perimeter, is 2,500 square feet. But I absolutely love it. Now, as many of you may have seen, we do have chicks on the homestead now, and they are growing very fast. They were hatched on the 20th of May, so they're not quite 3 weeks old yet, but they are looking more like chickens than they are chicks these days. So we have another project on the way that I'm very excited about, and I'll give you a quick peek at it. Dean is working on building the chicken coop. It is coming along so fantastic. He's so talented.
Oh, so talented.
And you'll be seeing more of that to come. So thank you for coming up and visiting with me in the garden today. I'll make sure that I get some pictures of the garden at dusk this evening, and so you can just see how beautiful it is. Thank you for stopping by Rugged Mountain Homestead. We're always so glad when you do. I look forward to seeing you next time, and until then, take care.